Your source for everything paranormal. Para-X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para-X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
The Calling.
And good evening, everyone. This is Jerry with The Calling, along with Kimberly Juarez. Kimberly, what's happening?
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Oh, I think they're being quiet out there. I haven't heard a word from none of them. That's how it usually goes, right? Oh, so did you get big storms there last night, Kimberly?
You know, we didn't. We really didn't. It just seemed it seemed really windy today though, and it's so hot, super hot out here.
Oh, it is. It's like African hot. It's just so terrible.
Yeah, but at least we're not in like down south where it's 111, 124. That's horrible. Yeah.
So. That just chaps my butt. Ish. That's disgusting. Literally. So tonight we decided, Willow took the night off because of the hurricane.
Right.
The hurricane is coming through. I think it's there or close to there now in New Orleans or New Orleans, like she calls it. And she's had to batten down the hatches. The poor girls had to dig up all of her plants outside and bring them in. But, it's funny. Kimberly, did you see the pictures of that blue jay on her Facebook?
Oh, yeah. What beautiful baby blue jay. It was really cute. It wasn't?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I thought it was really cute.
It was. It for some reason just would not leave her be. Landed on her back 3 times and just hung around her and stuff. So, that's my spirit animal, and I felt kind of jealous. But he's way down there, the poor little guy. Maybe he'll make it up here one day. I don't know. And, hey, Geeks Paranormal, Shauna, that's great. You're actually dressed. He just put that in the chat room that she's dressed
earlier.
Awesome. Wow. Okay. If you guys get a chance after tonight, take a look at their YouTube channel and see if they're dressed or not.
All right.
Exactly. Okay, so what do we got going on here? So tonight's guests for tonight, we were to have a friend of Willow's, and it was just going to be Willow and Kimberly on, but instead we decided, let's talk a little bit about our teams. Mine team being Supernatural Investigators of Minnesota, and Kimberly's team is
CAT Paranormal of Minnesota.
There you go. Awesome. So, okay, so we're going to start out. Let's start out with you, Kimberly. When did you guys first start going on with everything?
Oh my gosh. I want to say it's going to be 7 years. Should be like 7 years this fall, actually, when we started. But I started before I knew I had abilities. So when you have kids, you just like don't do anything, And then when my kids went to college, I was like, okay, now what do I do from here? And, we've done some things in the past and stuff like that. And we got some really good EVPs, and I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to pursue this, and then I went to Paracon, and I was a patron at this time, and I talked to Bill Murphy, I think it's Bill Murphy and Ben Hansen, actually. And they told me, Kim, you can do this. So I was like, I think I'm going to. And that's what made me start. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So now, did you start it with art or?
No, I didn't start it with the art right away, but I kind of got him involved because, I never told him about the abilities. I never told him about any of that stuff. My mom used to tell him certain things, but never to the point where he thought, okay, yeah, whatever, he just ignored it or whatnot. And I kept telling him that, afterwards when I started wanting to do it, I figured, I really want to do this. And he's like, okay, so that's when he took me to Paracon. He's took me to other places that were haunted, and that's when I started, to be truthful. I first saw my first apparition when I was 12 years old, and I had abilities since I was a little girl, different things like I knew if somebody would come to the door. I knew when my brother died, they were, when they called, I knew it was my brother, and I stood up and I looked at my mother because I just knew instantly that's the call, and not because I didn't know his condition or anything. It's just I knew that it was about him. I knew he had passed. So there's a lot of stuff that I've done in the past or seen in the past, and that's what made me think about the paranormal. And I love the paranormal ever since, since a child, to be truthful. So yeah. So and then, like I said, I went to Paracon, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I didn't know what I was doing, but I did it,
Oh,
So,
Paracon was just a total blast. It was awesome. It was a lot different than what, we thought that when we went to it. I mean,
yeah.
It was the, we planned on going. Next thing you know, we got a speaker spot. It was like, yes, So now you got Kari with you. And
Yeah.
how did Kari get involved in this?
So go ahead, Kari, because I love the way she tells this story.
I've always loved scary movies and things of that nature growing up. And truth be told, one day I was going in the gas station to get something. I saw a flyer on the wall saying, anybody interested in the paranormal, we're having a meeting at the public library on this date at this time. Come and see what it's all about if you'd like to join a group. And I'm like, and I told my husband, we had just come from a funeral. I said, okay, drop me off here. You might see me right away, because if these people are weird, I'm getting out of there, because I don't know what to expect. So I went in, and usually, I'll see flyers and stuff, but you never do anything about it. But yeah, I showed up there, and there were some other people there, and we had to fill out paperwork on our strengths and weaknesses and what our interests were, and then kind of had to wait for a call back to see if you got on the team. And Kim called me back, and she's like, yeah, we've got good feedback about you, got a good feeling about you, so you're on the team. And ever since then,
She's been
I've been
she's
on
been
the
here.
team.
Yeah, so
They
that's
can't get
7
rid of me
years.
now.
Yeah, 7 years. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it was just a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fluke, but I think it was just, I think things happen for a reason, and I think it was just my time to delve into it, because, I grew up with a good religious background, and then I had read numerous books on spirituality, and it just kind of, I think it was just all in the timing. It was my time that I could understand it better. Now.
Right. Well, Kari, have you had your total oh crap moment yet, or no?
Oh yeah, and I can kick myself, because I'm like, I don't want to be such a chicken butt, but yeah, we were up in Maplewood, and I was taking pictures, and it was dark, and I was in charge of the camera, and I would snap a shot and then look at the screen, and I usually never get anything, and snapped at the screen once, saw two eyes that were about 4 feet tall, right where the woods started. And in my mind, I said, oh my God, it's a wolf, run. So I started screaming at the other girl that was setting up lights outside. I said, it's coming, there's a wolf back there, get in the building, it's going to get us. And she started running because I freaked her out so much. But I was number one, so excited that I caught something, and then it's like, oh my God, to actually see it. But then I was mad at myself for running, but that was my first instinct because because
she's never, and the thing is, she's never, experienced it, so that's why she freaked out. I told her, turn around and take a picture. I'm like, what are you doing? Turn around and take a picture, and she did. She instantly turned around. So you weren't that afraid. You know what I mean? So
when you
first saw it.
Yeah, because in my mind, the wolf came into my head, and that's all I could see was a wolf, and that scared me.
Yeah, and there are no wolves where that place is at.
No,
nothing like that. We asked DNR and everything. There's no wolves. So basically, somebody told her, as a psychic, they told her that she's got to see a spirit wolf, and you can see it as a spirit wolf. You could see the eyes, you could see the snout a little bit, and that was it. That's all you see. So, and he was in the bushes, and he, like, you said you actually saw him move away, right? Like, move back. Did you see that?
No, I think I ran when I saw the...
Oh, yeah. So she was like, I don't think she was that afraid, but...
I love the paranormal, but I am not willing to be in a room by myself in the darkness.
I've done that.
Because I would probably freak myself out.
Right. Well, there's a question here by Sherry in the chat room. Should you hide your psychic abilities when you join a team? My opinion is yes, until you get to know the team.
Yeah, I agree. Only because you want to make sure that to see kind of how the team is going to be, because you don't know whether if you're going to be in that team or not, and you don't know how these people are. There are people who conjure stuff, and you don't want that type of, you just don't want nothing to do with conjuring. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's good to conjure things. Maybe to say hello or whatnot, maybe they'll talk to you. But people who use things to really want them or do satanic type of rituals, I don't think that's right at all. Because you just never know where you're going to put that spirit or yourself or the people that are with you in harm's way. You don't want that. So
Right. Yeah. George, what do you think? Do you think if a person is, and George again is with SIM, Supernatural Investigators of Minnesota, do you think people should hide their psychic abilities when they join a team?
Not really. I think if they've got psychic abilities, they should use them.
Okay. But, when they do use them, do you think it's how they should use them, though? I mean, they could say that they have them and they can use them, but like when you're in a place and you're investigating, then all of a sudden they're calling out all this stuff's going on and stuff without the evidence being there. Don't you think that they should at least maybe just write things down so that afterwards then it can be kind of put up with the
Well, possibly, but if I was there when their psychic abilities were happening, I would probably be saying, what's this load of BS she's trying to give me? Or he.
Right. I think that, George. Because and here Karen is saying, why wouldn't you just be up front? But like I said, you don't know if you want to be with those people. We don't know. Maybe you wouldn't like the group, and you don't want them to know. I don't know. I never told Jerry about when I first met Jerry, and we met. As a matter of fact, through the Paranormal Affair, we met. That's when I first met Jerry, and I never really mentioned anything about my abilities. I just, not to keep it quiet. I just never. And then when I knew he had abilities, and I kind of knew he kind of would understand me, then I opened up and said, well, Jerry, do you ever feel like this or blah, blah, blah? And I kind of understood it. I don't know how to, I get a mixed emotion. What do you think, Kari?
Well, I think you have to have a trust between the two of you. And if I had abilities and I joined a group, I don't think I would be so apt to say that I had abilities. Like Jerry said, I would probably write things down, and then it could get validated through the evidence, and then they would know that I'm legit.
Right.
And I would know that they're legit. I think you have to build that rapport and
Yep.
make sure each other is doing
Right.
is up front and reporting what's actually happening.
Absolutely.
Right. That's the big thing, is that
If you start making claims right away, that's going to raise suspicion right there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
exactly. That's the big thing, is that if you're going to do it, either you totally suppress it and let people know later on, or
Right.
you just don't sit there and walk into a building and say, okay, such and such a person is this and this and this and stuff. This happened here. Oh my God, I can feel this person screaming. Because number one is, where's your evidence?
Right.
I mean, that's the big thing. When there's somebody that, when you have a team and you go to somebody's house, they want to know what is there. You can sit there and say it's alien, it's a visitation, or there's, the person didn't want to leave and stuff, but where is the proof that it's there? So that's like Steph says, I think it should be on the table. Yes, it should be, but it could be introduced in a way. If you have a client, you can't just go and rip all that to a client and have no proof of exactly why they're saying that. Once you find the proof, if your evidence matches with what that person says, but again, doesn't say it out loud, they're going to have to write it down and everything and then go through it. Like Bobby Sullivan, the time we went to Walcott, and it was so funny because people knew that, Bobby can see things, stuff like that. And they're asking him questions. He's like, I'm not going to say. And then afterwards, he wrote everything down and then presented it to us. And it was like, very good, that is, to me, validation and evidence, when the evidence that we caught physically matches up with what somebody had seen there.
Right. So my thing too is when you're working with your investigators and you're trying to build a relationship with them, I didn't want them to start thinking that I had all these, I'm a psychic and I can read your mind right now and all this stuff. I wasn't like that. You know what I mean? I was just more on reading the haunts or the buildings or whatnot. And my investigators did not believe me. Totally did not believe me that I could do these things. I mean, right, Kari?
We never said that, though.
What?
We never actually said, Kim, we think you're full of...
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, I'm saying that it wasn't like,
I think there's a lot of people that claim they are.
Right.
But until you can back it up with other stuff,
absolutely.
I'm sorry, and you can't go in saying, okay, I'm a psychic and this is what I see in this investigation, because you could freak the heck out of your clients and you might not even be right.
Right.
I think
it's a hit. For me, it's a hit and miss. So I don't have psychic abilities. I don't have that. But there are clients, right, Kari? There were clients that were like, they had a whole family. So I told them I was able to read their home, and all of a sudden we had this whole clan of family sitting on the couch, and I'm like, why are these people here, right?
But then they all want to get a psychic reading, and then it totally goes off course of why you're actually there. It's just, I don't know.
Okay, just kind of, I want to explain something. This is going to sound weird, but there's a lot of people are sending me messages and also saying inside the chat room and stuff, where is it? It's something to do with a client. You have to let the client know. Depends upon what the client wants. Well, the client wants validation, but the thing is that being in the paranormal field, I'm sure George and Kimberly and Kari can all see it. Sometimes there's people out there that are giving the complete wrong information to certain clients. We get a call afterwards, so we go there, and people sometimes are extremely scared because they were told this by some so-called psychic, this, and this, and now they're scared. and there was no way that they could get rid of it, or they wanted to charge to get rid of it or something like that. So times that we're called in, we're not ghost hunters, we are paranormal investigators. So we'll investigate exactly what's there. George, being one of the best skeptics I've ever seen. Now, a best skeptic, exactly what do I mean by that? I've seen George want to take locks apart and, to be able to prove that it's something wrong with a person's latch on their door, why their door keeps popping open and stuff. So, going into somebody's house where they're scared to death like that because some person was a ghost hunter and just wanted to get a thrill, but then put in their own $2.50 worth advice of what's there, and there's just no claims of it ever being there before. There's no ties to whatever it could possibly be. And now when I say that, people, before you guys go nuts on me, is that that, how can I say this? Well, for instance, May and I, we went to a place and we found that the people had bought some stuff from a secondhand store. People down the road bought stuff from this same secondhand store. And we found that there was, by doing some research on that secondhand store, a lot of stuff came in because a person's child had died. Well, they bought some things each from that, then started having paranormal activity and stuff. And once they returned everything stopped. So it's, and it's okay, Kat. I own a lot of stuff that's secondhand, a couch that's just horrible. I'll never do that again. But anyway, so by doing the research on things to find out exactly what's there, and then to be able to bring it to the client and say, this is what we found, puts them more at ease of just not being a demonic type thing, which a lot of places have told. Kimberly, have you run into that too, where a lot of people were told that it's demonic and it's just not?
Absolutely. I fully agree with you, Jerry. You just have to be careful with certain clients. I'm not saying not to tell them about your abilities or nothing, not in a sense. You just have to kind of, you kind of have to fill your client. You got to make sure, they're not on depressants. You got to make sure, because if you say the wrong thing to these people, some of them are unsteady as it is. If there's already somebody coming in and told them you have a demon in your house or you have this in your house, sometimes we don't even see things or even hear things, and they truly believe there's something evil in their home. So you have to be really careful in that sense to make sure that these people are, okay. I don't know. It's a hit and miss, Jerry, when you have clients. It really is, and especially the private ones. I mean, we can already go into things that are haunted, like all these VR school, already a haunted place. And all these, and we're going to get EVPs or maybe not even. But when you're talking about clients, you have to be extremely careful of how you present things, how you go about doing it, making sure your investigators are safe, making sure the client will be safe. You have to really, really be extremely careful and not to say too much in the beginning. At least I think I want to be able to read that person, be able to feel that person before I even know. Like I said, we even look in the, when we're walking around, we look to see if, what is their medicine cabinet? What does they have? Because you just don't know how far they've taken this. And like I said, you have to be extremely, extremely careful with a client when you're trying to help them. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, because, if you just, go rush to tell, like you do the investigation and then you tell somebody, that, okay, this happened in your house, stuff like that, it's going to freak them out further. Once you have the evidence and everything put together. I mean, we went to one house one time that was in, what is that out there? Wooddale? I can't remember, but it's a newer buildings and stuff like that. And they said that there was a paranormal team came on out to their neighbor's house, and they paid them $1,000 to get rid of the ghost in the house. They never left. And it wasn't even that. A K2 meter, or not a K2, but a EMF detector showed that they had some extremely horrible wiring outside. Once that was fixed, everything stopped.
Right.
So not everything is what it seems. And some people, boom, they just go in, and it's crazy and stuff. It's just crazy.
Right. I had one that went out of state, and their EMFs were 1,000, 2,000. And the mom was having issues, and they're thinking they're being haunted. Like, the mom didn't even want to come out of her room. But the box stood right in the middle of their little tiny hallway of their apartment. So she was seeing things, she was hearing things, and it came down to showing them about the high EMFs that were in the middle, where the box was at, where the electric box was at, of their apartment. And she was extremely sick. So I told them they needed to get that taken care of, that the renter the owner needs to fix it. And sure enough, they fixed it and had no more headaches, no more seeing things, no more nothing. So,
Exactly. George, do you remember when we did First Avenue? The first time we did First Avenue, and we had, they were talking about the basement being where they were seeing kids and stuff. We went down there, and right away you could feel the EMFs were just so high. And when we used a EMF detector, it was well over 2,000. Oh, yeah, and as Steph's saying, I've seen full-bodied apparitions. We've seen all sorts of stuff down there. But the thing is, you think it, you've seen it. The EMFs were that high that it just played with your mind, made you sick. Steph had to leave. George, were you susceptible to it, where you had to leave too, or no?
I think I could probably feel it, but I didn't have to leave or anything. Just walking through that room would make your hair stand up a little. Oh,
it did. It was incredible. Eyebrows bushy. It was, I don't know. Somebody's got their volume on. We got to turn that off, please. So we're just, we did see an apparition, and I did see it too. Steph was just saying at Walcott. But anyway, so yeah, the whole thing's been incredible. When we come back from break, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about SIM and how we got it going and stuff. And then we're going to play all of our EVPs. We have how many we got? Like 10 of them or something like that? Somewhere around 9-10 of them, of things that pretty much our best stuff that's been incredible. Not just all the stuff from the past, few things from the past. One thing very funny from the past. Not you, George. I did not bring that one into it, so we'll leave that one. We'll talk about that one though, because it. I'm sorry, George. It's just too damn funny. But anyway, so we're gonna go on break. Let's do the break right now, and then we will be right back in just a couple minutes.
Whether you're listening at home, at work, or anywhere, thanks for making Para-X part of your day. Your source for everything paranormal. Para-X.
UFOs, Bigfoot, cryptids.
All of this on the call. Just think that you listening to the words of Para-X.
It is the secret of the world that all things subsist and do not die, but only retire a little from sight and afterwards return again. Nothing is dead. People find themselves dead and endure the mock funerals and mournful obituaries. And there they stand, looking out the window, sound and well, in some new and strange disguise. This secret must be told to the world, and they must tell it. Because they're not dead, we know this, and we'll prove it. So join Mike and Dave every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central for the Odyssey Files. Only on Parax.
Those geek ladies, Sean and Victoria from Exploring the Paranormal with Geeks Paranormal, are at it again with another amazing season full of paranormal celebrity interviews with amazing guests and stories of haunted locations and so much more. You will hear it first on Parax. Tune in Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. You will not be disappointed.
And we are back. All right, everybody. This is Jerry with the calling, and Kimberly Juarez is with. And if you have missed some of our shows and you're like, it's been forever since I've heard your sexy voice, Jerry, well, you still can. You can actually go to www.thecallingradioshow.com, and you can go to our YouTube channel, which is called The Calling Radio Show, and make sure to take a listen to it and hit subscribe and hit that little bell so it automatically notifies you when we're ready to go. Also, too, Parax. Oh, my God, what such entertainment they have right after our show tonight. It's the Geeks Paranormal. And then every Tuesday night, of course, The Gathering with Stephanie and Heidi. They sit around, and they are really good. Last night, they did not have a show, which was a real bummer. I sat there staring at the wall for an hour, but I feel good. So, yeah, check it all out. Parax is where it's at. Okay, so we are back. Now, Kimberly, did you have questions?
Yes. So how did you guys get started, Jerry?
We, as a matter of fact, how exactly did it happen, George? It was, do you remember, George?
Yeah.
Okay.
The bar that you and May worked at closed down, and after a few months, I guess you got us permission to go in there.
That's right.
And,
now I remember. Yeah.
At that time, I was a little more of a skeptic. I was a non-believer. But
You
when
really were.
May told me what you guys were doing, I said, well, maybe if I go along, I could sneak a couple free drinks.
That's a good one.
It didn't work out, but I did end up getting my interest peaked, and I believe in the paranormal, and I just like to have hard proof.
Exactly, and not alcohol hard proof either. Usually it's beer. But no, I remember that now because I remember at work when I asked my boss, because he's a gadgety type guy and stuff, and then his wife Katie, came up and said, "Well, can I go too?" And it's like, well, yeah. So it was May and George, myself, Stephanie, Katie, and Stephanie's daughter, Casey. We all went over there. We weren't even a team yet. And our very first night was incredible. I mean, we did have things happen. We could feel things inside there. George and I just said his name. Katie's husband.
Yeah.
What was his name?
I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, God. Chad. Chad was his name. It was funny because Chad.
Yeah.
CHAD.
Yep.
So we all got together and we went upstairs at Stashu's bar and had our equipment out and stuff. It was just us three guys. And it was funny because Chad, being a gadgety guy right away, he had to spoil his wife, Katie, and got a whole bunch of equipment for her when all we had was a voice recorder and a pen and a piece of paper. That's roughly about all we had. But we had our voice recorder set up, and it was amazing because I knew that I had certain things going on where I knew of things and stuff, things that happened. It's a long story, guys, but I thought I heard something. We were sitting upstairs at the bar, and we were almost sitting like in a triangle, if I remember, George. And 3 voice recorders were out, and I said the guy's name, and if you're here, I didn't like you, you didn't like me, which was truth. I used to work there at Stashu's. He let everybody go and only kept me. And if you have anything you want to say to us, you can go ahead. It was a terrible way you died. And I thought I had heard something. Well, we got back, we got done with the investigation. Steph took a bunch of pictures upstairs. And as we were going through things, right away back in those days, orbs were the biggest thing in the world. Oh my God, you've seen an orb and it's like, oh, it's a ghost. Oh my goodness. And whatever. But I mean, now I look at it like that. It's just dust. And there was this picture, and Steph was looking at it, and she said, I think that's an orb in that photo. I said, no, I don't think it is. I think that's maybe a street light. And she's like, I said, blow it up a little bit. She did, and I seen a picture of a woman looking back in the window. We're on the 2nd floor, and there's no way it was any of us. And I said to Steph, I go, look at that picture right there. And Steph's looking, and she screamed so loud and so many times that the neighbors, I think, thought I was beating her or something. She just went crazy. She scared me, the dogs, the cats, everybody. It's just total chaos was going on in the house. And so it was pretty amazing. But then we got the call from Katie that says, we have an EVP, and Jerry, it's saying it's your name. And it said, it's over, Jerry. And that's one of the ones we're going to be playing tonight. And so, George, when you heard that stuff and seen that picture, that had to put a little bit of belief in you, didn't it?
Actually, the picture, I still say that window hadn't been cleaned in about 40 years. And if the light was right, you could probably see that anytime you wanted. But the EVP, I could not disclaim that in any way. And it sure raised my curiosity. It made me so I wanted to see more.
Right, which you did one time, but it wasn't. I'll let that go. Anyway, no, the picture was funny because I actually went back the next day. I begged that guy, Bob, to allow me to come in and take photos. And we took photos, and there is nothing on that window. Absolutely nothing. So to me, that was quite amazing, that photo on there. But, I mean, I can't make you believe it. I mean, that's part of being a team. Some people are going to believe certain things. Some people may not. So, to hell with you, George. But no.
It's a dirty window.
No, I just wish we had that photo. What's that?
It's a good picture, ice cream too. You guys should go look at Sim's website. It's up there. So
that's right. It is in there. I'm going to find it and then put it on to in the chat room. But so yeah, that's how we started going. And then after that, we sat around trying to figure out a name for us. And Steph came up with Supernatural Investigators of Minnesota, or SIM for short. And I tell you, it's been a ride, man. It's been a huge ride ever since, and just crazy. So here we go. Okay, yeah, it is. It's actually right on the front page of my my website. Paste and click. So there's the website, and if you take a look, it was crazy. And we did. Steph's even saying, too, we tried to debunk it, but we couldn't. It was crazy. And then that's when, Katie came up and said, because Chad didn't want to be any part of the team. I think he was really scared, to be honest with you. You know, no, he wasn't. He just, it didn't interest him.
So so after that, then you guys stuck together then and made you guys.
Yeah, we stuck together. And Katie was funny is I remember her coming up to me and saying, can I still be with the team even though he's not? And I was like, yeah, he's scared, you know. It was crazy. So, there was just no interest on Chad's part whatsoever. But it was funny is that he is still being a very techie guy. He actually gave us, I call the recipe to make our own infrared lights, which are pretty incredible, but it does take a bit to do it. And I bought tons of infrared bulbs from China many years ago, and I just happened to have run across them. There's like 300 of them there, so I think it's time to start building some lights.
Now, can I say this, Jerry?
Sure.
Now that you've been in here, well, how long has it been since you guys been doing this now?
2010.
Nice.
is
So,
when we first started.
do you think you're an expert?
Nobody's an expert.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yep, nobody's an expert. If they say they're an expert in a paranormal field,
No.
they're a
You
ghost
learn
hunter.
something every day. You learn something every time you go on an investigation. You learn. I mean, it's incredible the things you learn each time you do something.
Yep. It's true. It's true. It's ever changing. In my mind, it's ever changing, and there's new stuff all the time. I remember when we were at Paracon, I'm not going to say who the person's name was, but they had it written out there that that girl was an expert. And when I went up to her and asked her, I said, so what's your thoughts on water poltergeist? She goes, I've never heard of it. And I'm like, what? And they said, yeah, never heard of it. I said, oh, okay. So water poltergeist we've run into quite a few times. Have you, Kim?
Isn't it that makes the sounds of water or something like, in a sense, like, or reacts with water? Like
it's actually water forms. Water just forms, and it
okay.
causes chaos and everything. We had a place downtown Minneapolis at the condominiums that they actually ripped open walls and stuff like that to see where the water's coming from, and there's no leakage.
Right.
But yet it'll come in one room, you walk in another, and you come back, the water's gone, but yet it's in another room.
Right.
You know, it's just like a regular poltergeist that just causes all sorts of trouble and takes your energy away, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like May says in the chat room, everything we do is controversial. That's true.
That's true.
That is definitely true, yep. So, George, what has been your oh crap moment?
Well, it had to be that old tuberculosis clinic that we investigated, where May and I and your daughter Casey were the only ones in the building, and we heard an audible moan to answer one of May's questions. And the sound, you could tell it was with us, but you couldn't tell where it was coming from. And after saying, oh my, you know what, we looked all over trying to figure out where that sound came from, and we never did. So yeah, that was my come to God moment.
That was pretty incredible.
There's no way I could disclaim that one.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. Well, that was a very crazy haunted place, Steph was saying. Let's see now. Aren't haunting spirits ghosts at all? It's only PK activity caused by the living. I don't know about that one. Don't know. Yeah, we do. Steph says we'd love to do it again, and we will be. I can't say when, but we will be. As soon as the COVID's done. That's the big thing. That's one thing that's holding all of us back. I mean, we haven't done an investigation. Well, we actually went to go do an investigation. We drove 4 hours one way, and the client wasn't even there. Claimed they were sleeping in their bed. What dog is not going to start barking when someone rings the doorbell like a madman and knocks so darn hard? I actually had bruised knuckles, you know. But
4 hours, that's a lot of time, you know. That's a lot of time. And you're trying to help somebody, but yet on their part, it's, you know, it's a hit and miss, Jerry, I'm telling you, especially private ones.
Right. Well, even despite, Karen said we may have to figure out ways to do investigations despite COVID. True, as long as the masks are on, the gloves are on, and no one else is home. Nobody's home because I don't want to pick nothing up. They're going to have to clean the heck out of the place and everything else and stuff. I just had a scare of having COVID, and it scared me that I could have given it to my daughter and to Steph and to other people. And that was a huge thing. So it's best to be safe than to be sorry. If it is a place that's out in the country or something like that, it's a little different. You know,
it's a great time to go and investigate the land.
Oh, the lands, yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
An opportune time for us to just get with Mother Nature and just investigate property.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, sorry to interrupt you, Kari, but we're down to 12 minutes left. Let's start playing those EVPs. So, Sarge, if you can go ahead just with the first one, and Kimberly, listen to it and tell me if it's yours or mine.
Are there computers on back here?
That's IT. I don't know what they leave on and what they don't leave on.
Okay, so that is the courthouse. We did the Waseca courthouse. We got permission to go in and do the Waseca courthouse. Now, if you hear my daughter saying, well, she's one of my investigators, she says, is anybody plugging it or something about the computers? And you hear a man at the background saying, are you messing with all the things? That, to me, was crazy because there were no other males but my husband, and my husband was on the opposite side of the building. So if you want to play it one more time real quick, you'll hear him say it again.
Are there computers on back here?
That's IT. I don't know what they leave on and what they don't leave on.
Yeah. Got it, heard it. Okay, we go to the next one, please.
Art's down the hall. That's Art. That's upstairs.
So, and that right there, I tried.
Hold on, let's do it twice, and then we can start talking.
Art's down the hall. That's Art. That's upstairs.
Okay, go ahead.
So I thought to myself, you know, I didn't want to rush, you know, the noise things or anything, but you could literally hear the footsteps, and she goes, that's not Art. And I turned around to look down the hallway to see if Art was there, and he wasn't. It was actual footsteps, and it was just her and I, and nobody else was moving. And I honestly didn't want to even say that's what that was, but she caught it, and we caught it right on recorder. So, yeah, that was footsteps in the courthouse again. So,
exactly. I agree. Okay, so next one, please. Boy, that's a long one. What is that?
So
that was me after a long night at Stock Shoes.
Okay, Kimberly, what was that?
Okay, so I mean, this is going to be a hit miss for everyone. The thing is that this chant, this is what I call it, a chant of some sort. This area that we were in was all native land, and I went and took it to some native people, and I asked about this. I asked DNR about owls. I asked DNR about certain birds. Would they be out here at night at a certain time of night? Well, whatever this was right in front of me, like trying to scare the investigators, because when I walked out of the cabin, you could literally see them in a ball. So I was like, okay. So anyways, but I took it up to North, and sure enough, they think it was some type of spiritual chant. Just like
Gotcha. Next one, please. What is that? I didn't catch it.
So that was in an old hotel, and these people were talking, having this huge conversation at 3 a.m. There was actually nobody on that floor, and that's the conversation. That's our door being shut and slammed.
Wow.
And we were sound asleep. If you listen to it really good, if you hear it like in a high audio, you can hear the people. You could hear us sleeping throughout this whole thing.
Right. We should have done this earlier. We'll never get through all of them. Next one, please.
You definitely can.
That's the one. That's the first one we ever got, which is It's Over, Jerry. And that's the one that, George, you kind of freaked on that one too.
Yeah, when I heard it, it really woke me up.
Me too. As a matter of fact, it woke me up so much I couldn't sleep all night long. Next one, please.
Guys,
Why?
there's another building.
Well, I know.
Might as well. Steffi, why?
That was the first time we ever went to Walcott just to do a walkthrough, and we were with another team at that time. Jeff and Mike had their own team, TC Gasp, and as we were walking out of this building, and when I said, because they're another building, and Steffi said, or I said to Steph, Steffi, why? This little girl all of a sudden says, what about me? And it's like, that's the big one that brought out even the people did it. We did a TV show, Stephanie and I, and that's on there. And I'll put that link up later. Right, exactly. That was Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. Okay, so next one, please.
Oh, that one's kind of low. That one doesn't sound very good.
Yeah.
That's one of mine.
Oh,
Just
okay.
Go to the next one. Go to the next one.
Okay, next one, please. Oh, that must be all of them, I take it.
Yeah, that could be all of them.
Shoot. Okay, I thought there was more. What's that?
So that you heard somebody say Julia, a female saying Julia. So, I mean, you could hear the patting, and then all of a sudden you hear Julia. And then that's it. So that one didn't come out as great either. Go ahead, Jerry.
And the next one, please, if there is.
So when I was sleeping, somebody touched me. And is there someone here? Did you touch me?
That was awesome. That was the Humbird. George, you were there, and May and Ladora and Nicole. That place is incredible. So if you ever get a chance, Humbird, Wisconsin, stay there overnight. It was unbelievable. And that's where I seen an apparition walking around that they said was walking around. And when I described it to the girl, she was like, oh my God, that was it. Could we hear, I think there's like one or two left.
There should be one or more, I think.
Right.
So, Chris, so far we got sick. I guess he was sick.
Yes.
And it asked us, he was sick, right?
Wow, that was the yes?
Yeah, that was my, oh my God. When I heard it, Jerry, it was so loud. It's like he went to the recorder and just said yes. And we were at a cemetery. There were no other men around. Art was on the other side of the cemetery. And I mean, I just kept feeling these feelings, and I wasn't even paying attention to the recorder, but you could see the K2 hits, and it was great. Fantastic. So, yeah.
So that's all the ones that we have. Bummer. Gosh. That would really gave me, when I heard it, when you sent it to me, I was like, oh my God. It's like, you can tell exactly where that one was.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we've had funny moments too.
Oh yeah.
Up in Thief River International Falls, there was a ghost, and it was a girl. I feel was mentally handicapped. May was saying something, and at first I thought it was following around May saying, "You're so stupid." And I mean, for years, I thought that's what it was until I finally, I started using WavePad and went through all the old EVPs, because they didn't have that stuff back in those days, 10 years ago, and started going through some old ones and finding ones that are just too funny that what we thought it was. And instead, I think it was saying something like, Stephen, where's Stephen, or something like that. It was hilarious. But George, which one did I find that was really funny of you?
Gee, I wouldn't know, Jer.
I'm sorry. I gotta tell it. It happens to all of us. We have that crap moment.
We're out of time now.
No, sometimes you can see stuff and you think that it's ghost. You really think it is a spirit, Right. And sometimes it can be just your reflection bouncing off a stainless steel refrigerator. Not saying that happened to George, it's happened to all of us, stuff like that. And it's quite hilarious, one of the EVPs I had out there, which it didn't make it, obviously, was the one of we don't trespass, but yet Steph decided that I just have to go in this building and take a look. And we got busted out by the ghost that actually said, we can hear you. And it's like, oh my God. We knew we needed to hear that. We needed to investigate that place. It was hilarious. But just to let everybody know, if you're looking to join a team or something like that, or if you're looking to start a team, make sure you get your research down on what you do and how to do it. Ask somebody, and they'd be more than happy to help you out. I know Sim would, I know Kat would, so that would be great. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Kari, for coming on. Thank you, George. You the man. And thank you, Para. Thank you, Para X. Thank you, Sarge. And thank you to the troops if you're listening. We appreciate you. All right, everybody, have a good night, and stay tuned for Geeks Paranormal.